You should have captured that gold.
Probably
Yeah,
should
right.
have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, it's the 28th of April, Sunday. Yeah. Time for Sunday Funnies. Here we go. But before we run the opening, let's run this. In the time before Atlantis sank and the lands of the world were savage and untamed, one man would claim his destiny. Leaving his Atlantean tribe behind and throwing off the shackles of Lemurian bondage, he sailed the seas as a pirate captain before seizing his place as a king. And now that he has the throne, how long will he be able to keep it? This is the Shadow Kingdom, the classic sword and sorcery tale by Robert E. Howard, adapted by Randy Zimmerman, with artwork by Russ Leach. Available now at funmycomic.com. There we are, folks. Print file is done. Funmycomic.com had a little glitch there, collecting money from the backers. So we've opened it back up for a storefront for 2 weeks. I think Monday is the start of the second week. So if you want to get in on the Shadow Kingdom, back it now. Back it this week, or you might not get a chance to do this this book again. And it's going to be a great book. Can't wait for you to see it. Folks, here's our opening. Here we go. That wasn't it. This is it. I always get the wrong one anymore.
It's this
I
big.
gotta stop doing that. Here we are.
Taste the honeys.
See, I ran the Tails 1 cover there, but it's the interiors that I regret. So, Rex, anyway.
Rex is drinking.
Come on in, folks. We see you out there. It's the 28th of April. We are pre-recorded this morning again. I swear we won't be next week. At least that's what I'm being told by my social calendar, which is my wife. Here we go.
So
this weekend,
what she said.
Say what?
It's literally what she said.
Literally what she said, yes. We're off celebrating our anniversary, our wedding anniversary.
Yep.
Don't ask me for the exact number because I can't remember. But it's our wedding anniversary. It always slips my mind. It's in the 30s. I think it's 35, 36, somewhere in there. 37, something like that. Anyway. We got married exactly.
Zone. You better start remembering.
She doesn't watch this program anyway. So I'm saying.
Nah. Yeah.
Anyway, I just know it was
attention to what I do. Bad sign, Randy.
Exactly. It
Hello?
was 2 years that she can't put up with me in real life, let alone podcast. So here we go.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Woman's got limits.
Exactly 2 years after our first date. And on our first date, we went to see Beetlejuice in the theater. So remember that well.
Wow.
Come on in, folks. Sunday Funnies. I'm your host, Randy Zimmerman. I am the editor-in-chief of Arrow Comics. I did do the adaptation of the Shadow Kingdom there that you can find over at funmycomic.com. You can also find a lot of my material over at arrowcomics.store, where you'll find books like Hero Bot Zero. We should have Alice in Chains up there by now. If not, it should be. The Fool as well. Great fun superhero book. And let me see here. Calico Shard that we showed in the opening as well, with artwork by the great C. Michael Lanning. So it's a nice fantasy title. And go over there and check them out. Arrowcomics.store. Also joining me this morning is Glenn Fleming. Glenn, introduce yourself. Yeah, go, Glenn.
Hi, everybody. My name's Glenn Fleming. I'm a writer. I have 11 books published. You can find them all on Amazon. I've drawn thousands and thousands of illustrations for books and advertising and comics and whatever. And I also I'm a publisher, and I publish a magazine called Comics Unlimited, which you can find in Amazon too.
Sweet. Also joining us, Mr. Russ Leach. Russ, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Russ Leach. I am a comic book artist from the UK. You can find out all about me by going to russleach.com. Sign up for the email list there so we can tell you all about the things that are coming from myself and Randy and other guest writers in the future concerning Robert E. Howard and Cull. The Atlantean, which is our new title, will be coming soon. But in the meantime, get over to fundmycomic.com and check out the book What I Did Draw with Randy. Okay, and it's the Shadow Kingdom, and it's still up for another 2 weeks. So grab yourself a copy because this is an extra special thing that you couldn't have got before because Stripe cocked up some payments. But it's there, and now you can go and get it. So go and get it, and sign up for the email list so I can tell you all about
There
that
you go.
stuff and all my social media connections. They're all there over there at russleach.com. Go now.
There we go.
There you go.
Keep this on YouTube. Keep listening, but you can go there now. It's there.
Also joining us, Mr. Rex. Rex, introduce yourself. If you can. Are you there?
Rex Christian, writer, artist, and my book, Devil Flyer, is up on Indiegogo as well. Devil Flyer. So go check that out as well. Magazine size, 48 pager. Yeah, just coming up with great concepts and drawings and writing every day.
Uh-huh. Sweet.
And I'm here
also
for the food.
joining us. You're here for the food.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know if we have anything in the back of the reception hall. I don't see anything. So anyway,
Still
the person
Cheetos
responsible
are
for
out
the
of date. Yeah.
donuts and Cheetos did not show up this morning. So
No.
sorry. Also joining us this morning, special guest, Mr. C. Michael Lanning. C, introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm C. Michael Lanning, independent artist. I've done work for obviously Calico for Arrow Comics, upcoming Doghouse 2 from Hazard Productions, and recently with J.D. Calderon of Oswald Chronicles did Magi's Grace. Plus, there's a bunch of shows on Independent Comics Network that I always seem to appear on. So there's that.
Yeah. All right, folks, today it's our joy to go through a Marvel Treasury that is rarely seen. I hardly ever see this at shows anymore. The Land of Oz, the marvelous Land of Oz. Is this Treasury size? Much bigger than your average comic.
Wow.
Do you
Great stuff,
think
though.
that one reason you don't see, I mean, do you see other treasuries out there for sale?
Here and there, yes. Yep. I see them
Because
out there here and there, but this one
takes
is,
up a
I
lot of
rarely see it.
space.
It does, yeah. But they usually
but
put them all
Right.
out in a stack. You
Yeah,
know,
it's
and
probably because,
go ahead.
yeah. Now, Land of Oz was the sequel, right, to Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Which was,
Marvel did-
Return. Uh-huh.
There's a
Well,
lot of
yeah.
Return to Oz that was pulled from this book. Yeah. It's not
That
the
one did.
same story though
Okay.
at all.
Yeah.
In fact, this
Yeah,
story
right,
is crazy.
right.
This story is great. And anyway,
But they
Return
did
to
the,
Oz was
notice-
kind of
Well, they
notice
put
the, the
Marvelous Land
design
of
on
Oz.
the
Ozma.
pumpkin.
So
Sorry, we're stepping on each other this morning.
Yeah,
You were
sorry.
saying?
Go on, see.
well, no, I was saying the Return to Oz was actually pulled from the Marvelous Land of Oz and the next book, Ozma of Oz.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a mixture of all that, and they kind of jumbled them together and stuff.
What a
But,
jumble.
but now that definitely has the bed in there, right?
The
Oh,
Gump.
yeah, a lot
Couch,
of the
whatever that is.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah,
And that,
yeah.
the,
A lot
the
of the elements.
visualization of that character with the big pumpkin head, that's straight out of the film as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Jack, isn't that?
Right. Mhm.
Who drew this
No way.
one? Because it wasn't it JB that
What?
John Buscema that did the first one.
John
Watch
Romita
this.
cover.
John Romita. Marvel kicked out a treasury originally of the Wizard of Oz off of the MGM movie.
Yeah,
And-
that was John Buscema, wasn't it?
I believe it was, yeah. And that got
Yeah.
such a reception, they decided to try Land of Oz.
Right. Okay.
And they kicked that out also as a treasury, all original material. I don't think this has ever been reprinted either. Not that I'm aware of. I could be
Wow.
wrong. And sorry, folks, the chat is open, but we can't respond to it today. So if we give out any wrong information,
I've
we'll
never
stand
seen it
corrected.
reprinted.
I never have either.
No,
I've never
But it's a
reached-
great book.
And I don't think that I've actually seen this treasury. I mean, I knew it was out there. It was probably featured in ads as well at the time, but I don't think that I've ever seen a physical copy of it.
Yeah. Cover by John Romita.
That
It's a good one.
gear at the front there looks a little bit.
Back cover as well, John Romita.
Dr. Zeus.
Yeah.
That looks more Romita on the back.
Yeah. Here they were kind of sticking to the MGM a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know how they were able to get away with that, because MGM would have had a cow normally. Maybe that's why it's never been reprinted. I don't know. But The Land of Oz was a sequel to Wizard of Oz that Baum did.
Yes.
In fact, Baum went out and tried to do a couple of other novels after he did Wizard of Oz and kept getting bombarded by mail from kids begging him for a sequel to Wizard of Oz.
Do you know who the original Tin Man was?
Yeah, Jed from Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh, that's the talkie version. I'm talking the silent version.
Yeah. No.
Hardy from Laura and Hardy.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
huh.
Baum got into a lot of entrepreneurial stuff, especially with Wizard of Oz while he was still alive. But Land of Oz came out of two sources. One, all of the kids were begging for a sequel to Wizard of Oz. And the second thing, it was really inspired by his wife's association with Susan B. Anthony and the feminist movement. And you'll see why as we go along. Yeah.
Right. I totally see that. I didn't know about the Susan B. Anthony connection.
Oh yeah,
that
his
makes
wife
so much
and
sense.
Susan B. Yeah, his wife and Susan B. were really tight. So
well, they've got an image from the film there on the left-hand side, and then the two of them that are drawn on the right-hand side are obvious likenesses.
Kind of, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only characters from Wizard of Oz that are in Land of Oz
interiors?
are Scarecrow and TinMan.
They must have had some kind of go-ahead from MGM.
They must have somehow.
Yeah, there must have been some kind of backroom dealing.
You
Especially
probably
to run
checked
that
down
picture.
there in the Indica, right?
Yeah.
And
No,
this is
Marvel
glued,
Comics.
but it's also stapled.
Yeah.
It's glued, but it's also stapled. Glorious newsprint.
I'm kind of.
Nope, they went after the rights.
Kept...
Yeah. Based on characters, copyright 1939 by Lowe's Incorporated. License renewed. So that's crazy. Huh. Who knew? Anyway, the interior.
Who did the interior artwork to this?
Alfredo Alcala. Roy Thomas did the adaptation. Alfredo Alcala did the artwork. Joe Rosen lettered it. John Romita, art director. John Verporten, production manager. Mary DeZuniga, layout supervisor, and Michelle Wolfman, colors.
Is
Ready?
that
Here we go.
Marv Wolfman's wife, Michelle?
Yeah, I believe so. Yep.
So is there some nepotism going on in there?
Well, welcome to comics.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Here's our main characters here. The Gump, Scarecrow, Tin Woodsman from Wizard of Oz, Tip, Mr. Wogglebug, Jack Pumpkinhead, Sawhorse, not Glinda. This is Glinda here. This is Jinjur.
Mr. Wogglebug is sending me off.
And Mombi.
Mombi.
I'm
glad they didn't make her green.
Is that King Rat?
I don't know. That's King Rat. Yeah.
Got a crown.
Yeah.
King Rat.
Yeah. Wogglebug. What was the couch's
Highly
name?
educated Wogglebug.
What was who?
Gump.
What was
The Gump.
What is the couch's name?
the Gump?
Gump?
G-U-M-P. Yeah. Well, see, he's created here, but here's the opening.
Yeah. Okay.
We're in Munchkin Land. Nope, sorry, Gilkin Land. We're in Gilkin Land, land of purple. Yep. We started in Gilkin Land. Now the book Land of Oz
Now,
carries some wonderful illustrations in it by one of my favorite artists, John R. Neal.
what is the story of Oz OZ? Didn't he take that from his file cabinet?
Yeah.
What is that? But is that a true story? Because I know they did that with the John Ritter, movie about
the TV
L. Frank Baum. Yeah,
yeah, the TV movie was as accurate as they could be at the time. Yeah.
But I thought
They
it
weren't
Oz
doing
was
that.
kind of like something he just kind of came up with out of thin air.
No, it's a file cabinet. He had a 2-drawer file cabinet. One was A through N, and the other one was O through Z. So it was Land of Oz, as opposed to
Can
the
we-
Land of A.
I just thought that was
Yeah.
just a John Ritter kind of thing that they did
Oh no,
in the TV
no.
movie.
They pulled that out of real life here. This is Tip. Here, our main hero of the piece. It's going through collecting firewood for the witch Mombi, who is taking care of the boy. He had to go out and milk the 4-horn cow.
Mhm.
And basically he resented Mombi because she made him a kind of a slave, like very much like a Cinderella type situation.
Yeah.
So he's out collecting
You said
firewood,
the
stumbles
Wizard of
over a
Oz
pumpkin. What?
You said the Wizard of Oz was successful. What do you know if this one was successful on sale?
I have no idea how the sales on this was. No idea at all.
Oh,
I can only imagine it was. It's a great book, but that doesn't mean it sold well. Back in the 70s, it would have gone through the regular shops, bookstores, and that. I don't think the comic shops were just starting up at that time. So finds a little pumpkin, decides to play a joke on Mombi, creates a Pumpkinhead character in order to scare her, sets it up in the corner of the road. So she comes by and is initially frightened, and then she's pissed off because she knows Tip did it. So he reaches into her bag and pulls out a salt shaker, powder shaker, magic powder. Magic does. She sprinkles it on him, does some words, and he comes to life. And Tip is shocked, amazed. Then she brings him back to their house and or grabs Tip and has him bring him back to the house. More slave labor.
Randy, the next thing you'll be telling us is that he planted some magic beans.
No beans.
no beans. No, but just wait.
Just magic dust. Just magic dust. And the cool thing about this book, that if you are a fan of the original, Alfredo Alcala went through and tried to use as many of the illustrations in the book as he could.
Yeah, good.
Here's that 2-page spread. I don't know if you can even see that, but John R. Neal did the illustrations for this.
Very nice.
And Alcala kept to the book as much as he possibly could. There he is milking the 4-horn cow. There is Mombi. Oh, no, that's him grabbing the clothes. They show that's him hiding in the bushes. Go ahead. Go ahead, Glenn.
If you look at the credits for the comic, Alcala has done the artwork, but that Mary DeZuganiger, whatever she's called, has done the layouts.
Well, I don't know if he did full comic pages or what, but
well, I'm just saying, I don't know either. I'm just saying that if you look at right the first page, you'll see the credits. Go over one.
Yeah, she's layout supervisor.
Layout supervisor, yeah.
Yep.
So she must have been talking to Alcala.
Maybe. I'm not sure how much of a hand she had in the actual layout.
if she's a supervisor, surely she must have had some kind of dialogue. You don't supervise and not tell somebody something. So what I'm saying is that it looks to me, and I'm usually wrong, but it looks to me like she is responsible, and it says it, for the layouts. So these layouts, so Alcala to me wouldn't necessarily be following that book. She's following that book,
Right. Okay.
because she's the supervisor. That's just the way I'm seeing it. But another thing I wanted to say with this artwork, as beautiful as it is, it's not inked as what. Not, I won't say well. That's the wrong word. It's not inked like he does the Buscema Conan with lots of lines everywhere. It's totally different. It's more illustrative, and it's fantastic. Do you see what I mean? So if you got one of Rusty's Conans up there and showed the inking with all those lines that he does, it's not like that, and I find that very impressive.
Yeah, it's heavy on the blacks. I could see that.
Yeah, and because this is his artwork, and obviously he was embellishing John's artwork on Conan, but he did it in a different way to this, and I find that fascinating. He's got two fantastic styles, one for inking John and one for doing this, because this is just beautiful, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's lovely artwork.
Yeah, that teapot really stands out with that smoke, that steam.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, he's got into it there because he's put the sheen on the teapot, hasn't he? And he does that with the Buscema work. He really gets into the core of the artwork and really embellishes it.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful stuff.
She's snoring. That's
Snore,
right there.
snore.
Snore. So anyway, she's going to turn Tip into a statue and place him in the garden because he's such a naughty boy. And Tip freaks out, so he decides to run. He goes through her cupboard and grabs the magic powder shaker.
It looks like Paul McCartney on that top picture, doesn't it? With that beetle cut.
Up here?
Yeah. A 14-year-old Paul McCartney.
Need to part it more in the middle, with more 1800 style.
Grabs Jack Pumpkinhead and they hit the road. He's going to go plead. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
He's going to go plead his case at the Emerald City to the king. So he takes Jack with him. Jack's having a hard time walking because he's only got sticks for bones. But he also recounts the Wizard of Oz here. Go ahead.
You know, when we were talking about these oversized books like this one is, a few weeks ago, I think we were talking about, was it Kirby's Bicentennial, one of the books we're looking at?
Yeah.
We were discussing. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we were discussing the size of the artwork, and we didn't determine, or we didn't know how much bigger than this printed size. This is bigger than the comic size, the 15 by 11, whatever it is. I would just be interested to know if anybody knows how big this artwork might be.
No idea. I haven't seen an original from this ever.
No, because it's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah. You can see he's really trying to hold to John O'Neill's art style here. It's really a John O'Neill face here.
Do you think it could be like the Prince Valiant size?
It could be.
I don't know. It might be, yeah.
Because of the amount of detail in it, it just kind of.
Yeah.
Well, Alcala though, he was crazy for detail anyway. This could be regular comic book size for all we know, and he just inked it real fine.
I've got some printouts of Alcala, Savage Sword of Conan,
right,
at the correct size of the artwork according to I can't remember the name of the place where you go to buy Heritage. That's it. According to Heritage. I have the dimensions of the artwork, and it's exactly the same as standard artwork size. So when you look at a Savage Sword of Conan, you see all that work that Alcala puts in. He puts it in as the same size as everybody else.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there's no telling how big this original artwork was. It
I
may
would
be one
venture
for
it would
one.
be the same size.
Yeah.
I would venture it'd be the
Yeah.
same size. Not quite this size, a little bit larger. Probably
But
10
then-
by 15.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is we're talking about a slightly different style. If you look at all the
Yeah.
foliage and all the
Yeah.
backgrounds, they look very they look more Alcala-esque, if you like, from the Savage
Yeah.
Sword of Conan. You may find that the more open the style is simply because this is not being reduced. If you were to take this and reduce it down by 30% to a standard comic book size, it would look that much more detailed. I'm not saying that Glenn is incorrect, because I think he's absolutely right. He's brought a different style to this. It's a different presentation of Alcala than in Savage Sword, but you can see hints of the amount of work that he puts into certain things. And my suspicion is that this could be one for one.
Wow.
Oh, huh.
Yep.
Okay.
Or whatever
Well, they
it is.
tie
It's
back
but
to the
beautiful stuff.
Even if, exactly, it's gorgeous, whatever. And if it is bigger, I doubt very much that it goes to Prince Valiant sizes.
Right.
Yeah, I do too. I don't think he'd
Yeah,
draw
That's just
that
an
big.
opinion. That's just my opinion. So
You're probably right. I mean,
Be interesting to find out.
This is kind of Alcala's version of the cover for the Wizard of Oz Treasury book.
Yeah.
Right there. It's almost the same image, only done in Alcala style. They recap the first story, leaving the Scarecrow as the king in the Emerald City, and how evil Mombi is. Mombi wasn't in the first book.
I can hear her cackling from here.
Look at the beautiful detail, like Russ said, in the foliage, and all the faces are very illustrative. And then we get a crappy drawing of a balloon front and center. It's like he spent 4 days doing that lovely spread and only had an hour left, and thought, oh no.
Yeah, so I don't want to draw balloons. Sod that.
And I've even got to letter on it,
Oh yeah, Kansas or bust.
Yeah. I can't draw balloons.
It's the one thing in the world I can't draw. Is a balloon.
And it's right in the center of the page.
Yeah.
Anyway, to help
gorgeous, isn't it?
Jack get around, Kip takes a sawhorse, puts a face on it. Hadn't had a face to start with. Animates it with the magic dust, and it comes to life. So, of course, initially he doesn't have any ears, so he takes off running till they're able to capture it, and he has to give him some ears, carve him in some ears, and plant him in there so that he can hear. And then he takes a post and nails it into his back so that Jack's got something to hang on to.
Great.
And they take off walking. Heading towards Emerald City.
Look at that bottom panel there on the first page. It would take you more effort to keep your feet up than walk. Because he's bigger than that horse thing. Do you know what I mean? He should walk. But it's great drawing.
I love this book.
I think that's to demonstrate his off balanceness, because the clothes and everything are so skinny, but the Pumpkin's head is so big.
It's gawkiness. The two panels that jump out for me is the on the right hand page, the top panel, and how beautifully he's sat on the stick horse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then the bottom panel when they're running.
Yeah. Yeah. It's clear, isn't it, that Alcala can draw people very well.
Yeah. He doesn't need John.
That's right.
He can do it on his own. Yeah.
Picks him up.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I getting back to what I said before. I think Mary's got this book and had a word with Alfredo about this layout thing and giving him these samples.
Yeah.
Said, whatever you do, stick to this.
I'm sure he had a set of the illustrations there to work off of.
Yeah.
They get to the Emerald City.
Wow.
Greeted at the door, given sets of glasses so everything looks green. Brought in to meet the king.
That 3/4 page panel is gorgeous.
It's great, isn't
Which
it?
is it's
Yeah,
kind of
first
interesting
panel.
because in the MGM movie wasn't everything actually green?
Yeah.
They kind of bypassed the humbugness of the wizard in that situation, but it's kind of interesting that they kept it here.
Well, to make up for it, they had the wizard in like 3 or 4 different parts. During that, he was a coachman. He was the guy at the door that opened the door to talk to him. That was
Right.
Henry Morgan. Yeah, same actor. Comes in to meet the Scarecrow. This is more like the Scarecrow from the book than it is from the movie. It's still great, though.
Yes, yeah. I think he tries to keep it similar with the nose, right? I think
Yeah.
the nose being a different color.
So and they start, the Scarecrow and Pumpkinhead start having intellectual discussions.
I do that with pumpkins all the time.
Russ, what's the name of the guy who writes with Ricky Gervais on The Office?
Stephen Merchant.
Oh,
Yeah, because that
Merchant, yeah, well done,
that
yeah.
guy looks like him there at the bottom, doesn't it?
it does. That is Stephen Merchant, yeah.
That's it.
Well, yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's seen it. That's
Probably-
what am I
probably
doing in
uses
this
it.
comic when I was 5?
Yeah. I think in the private chat, Rex is suggesting he's locked himself out.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, he has.
Rex,
Sorry, Rex.
Rex has left the room and has left his keys behind.
Rex is
Rex, are you back?
next to his
Yeah.
spare keys.
Next to his
Oh, yeah.
keys. Where did you? That's always what your parents would say to you when you lost something. Well, where did you see it last? It's like,
Yeah.
I know. If I knew that, I would. Yeah.
That's what happens when you try to get that food in the back of the room. You end up accidentally locking yourself out.
Oh, he went for the Cheetos.
Went for the Cheetos. So anyway, Tip's in the garden and he ends up bumping into Jinjur. Ginger's the queen of the army.
You'll have to zoom in
Later.
again.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Boink. There we are. Jinjur is amassing a revolt.
Ginger's got a great hat.
Great hat.
Yeah, it's just a massive
Ginger's
magic
not really a
mushroom.
ginger.
No, not really.
No.
Yeah, that preceded Super
Jinjur.
Mario. Just saying.
Yeah, she certainly should have been, though.
Yeah. Damn it, Ginger's a good-looking woman.
Yeah.
Nuts though.
So's Glinda in this. Anyway, she ends up amassing an army from the different sections of Oz. So they're all
That's pretty-
different colors. Yeah, blue, red, yellow, green. Or green is Emerald City, but purple, I believe the other color is. Yeah.
Purple.
She ends up amassing an all-girl army. They're revolting because they're having to do all the housework. And the men don't do
Sire,
anything.
sire.
Arr.
The peasants are revolting. You don't have to tell me that. I can smell them from here.
There's the picture out of the book. So I love the illustrations here and how close that they tried to stay to the book.
Just think if you had a choice between doing the housework or going to fight somewhere, that'd be a tough one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I'd
they all
get the
grab
Hoover
their
out straight
knitting
away.
needles as weapons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Threaten to poke the men's eyes out if they don't let them take over. So
Fine, you fight. See you later. I'm going back to do some knitting.
she's got that 20s look about her there, doesn't she?
Yeah.
With the hair. Yeah. Almost Art Deco. Very pretty. So yeah, they decide to start taking over. So she stages a coup. They take over Emerald City. So and the Scarecrow's afraid that he's going to be ripped apart.
It's not a peaceful coup then.
Not a peaceful coup at all. No.
They grabbed their knitting needles. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were trying to be peaceful. They were going to stab somebody's eyes out.
Absolutely. So they decide to escape.
Okay.
And in order to do that, the guard there has to tie them all to the sawhorse and send them on their way. Sawhorse takes off running. As they run along, Jack ends up losing his head. So they have to go back for it.
Did the sawhorse have a name?
Sawhorse.
Sawhorse, yeah.
Okay. Sawhorse is not a description. It's a name. It's a proper noun.
So they have to fish his head out. They stick it back on his head. He's just fine. They restuff Scarecrow, so he's got enough stuffing for a while. They decided, I believe they run off to the land of the Wilkins or Winkies, which is where the TinMan is ruling.
Ruling, yeah. Nick Chopper.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nick
That's
Chopper.
what she said.
That's his name.
Did you say Dick Chopper?
No, Nick.
Nick.
N.
Oh, Nick.
However,
Nick.
that's not too far fetched when you actually look at his origin story. So,
Right.
Yeah, his origin in the book is brutal. He's
brutal.
He falls in love with a beautiful woman. He's a lumberjack, and the girl's mom is a witch and resentful of their romance. So she starts enchanting the woodsman's axe to chop a limb off.
Ooh.
And he keeps getting all of his limbs chopped off, but he doesn't lose his love for the girl until he loses he gets his arms chopped off and his legs chopped off and his neck chopped off, and he goes to a tinsmith and has them refitted and reset on. And then when it chops his body in half, he figures he loses his heart. And so that's why he.
And this is for the family.
Heart.
Family, is it?
Oh, these books are great. Yeah, these books are great.
I always use this as this and Bram Stoker's children's tales to show just how coddled we make children nowadays.
Well, Grimm's fairy tales, same way, Little Red Riding Hood,
absolutely, yeah.
Kind of stuff. Yeah. So anyway, he gets there and they have a happy reunion. And he's told what's going on with Glinda, that she's taking over all of Oz, and he ends up getting re-sewn, has his crown sewn back on him. Scarecrow does. Tip and Jack Pumpkinhead are introduced to the TinMan.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Mombi, on the other hand,
Wow.
still a little resentful.
Lovely.
Wants her kid back.
Nothing like the movie.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
top right-hand panel, the lighting on
Yeah.
the face. That's
You could
cracking.
see, like you're saying, that right-hand panel with those vases on. You could see Conan sitting there, couldn't you?
Yeah.
With some booze and stuff on that lovely stone floor.
Yeah, what
She
is
looks
good in
more
life,
like the
Conan?
old witch from EC Comics.
Yeah.
Looks like something Bernie Wrightson would do.
That's true. Yeah. Yep. So Mombi ends up getting in their way a little bit and makes some mean flowers there that they chop down. And as they're traveling along, they end up running across Mr. Woglebug here at the end.
As you do.
Good morning. Good morning, one and all.
Yes.
Woglebug.
Woglebug.
I hope-
Highly educated.
I hope you are as aggression enjoying excellent health. Aggregation, enjoying excellent health.
Jesus,
He talks in-
drug induced. Good God.
He's got highfalutin talk. Yeah. Oh, that's nothing. Wait until you hear Wogglebug's story. How he got to
Nightmare. That is nightmare
That is-
fuel. That's
Yes.
hideous.
be. This is cool. And there's Woglebug out of the book.
Yeah.
Introduced. Then you get his highly magnified history. It's Mr. H.M. Woglebug T.E.
That's right.
HM
Highly
stands for-
magnified. That's right.
Highly magnified, Woglebug thoroughly educated.
Thoroughly educated. Yep. Okay.
He goes in and explains his story. He used to hang around a schoolyard. He was a simple little Woglebug, just a small little Woglebug. And the professor there teaching the kids, he comes up with a projector. So he picks up the little Woglebug on the floor and projects him onto the wall. Here onto the sheet that they had tacked up. One of the kids is freaked out and ends up falling out the window. So everybody rushes outside to see if the kid's okay. Luckily, they're on the first floor, so he falls into some bushes. And Woglebug walks off the screen, decides to run off.
Oh, wow.
Finds himself a set of clothes, has a tailor make him a set of clothes, and then he ends up deciding to join our troop here.
And then slowly begins his
Some
spree
of Frank
terror.
Oz's characters, and you really see it in the silent films,
Yeah.
were
Oh, yeah.
strange, like Cat in the Hat type characters, Dr. Seuss characters, very strange.
Well, Patchwork Girl and stuff. He did a Patchwork Girl of Oz silent film. So he was really experimenting in film. And Patchwork Girl was a book way later on, huh?
Yeah, 3 or
Well,
4
you
books
don't-
up the line. Yep.
What
Yeah.
you don't see is the police interview later on when he, hands himself in as a serial killer. See, look at
Woglebug
this.
or-
This
or
is-
Bomb?
Yeah, Woglebug. Look at him. He's evil. You can't tell
He's
me
thoroughly
that thing
educated. He
exists.
knows.
And
knows
he's
better
thoroughly
than
educated, so he could dodge the police while sending them
Yeah.
letters telling them that he did it all.
Oh, it's the commissioner's son.
Yeah. Good God. Oh, some nice stuff. Look at that.
So they're traveling along. Mombi's watching them. He calls the Tin Woodsman calls forth King Rat and loads up the Scarecrow just in case they need an army for later.
Just in case.
Because it's an army of women. So
Ah.
going to use the women going to use the rats to scare the women off.
So in order to further the cause of women's equality, we're going to have a women's army that takes over. But we're
Yes.
going to scare them with rats.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was very.
They came prepared.
Oh dear.
He was very leveled when he wrote this. So
Yes. Yeah. I
it's
could.
like-
Yes. Yeah.
This was like
Wait,
the
did-
early
Sounds like a
this was like the
sound plan to me.
early 1910s, I think it was that
Yeah.
this was written. So
Yeah.
very early
Wait till you
on.
get
I know
to the mid,
all of
to the mid left behind.
Yeah. Emily
All of-
Pankhurst read it and
Yeah.
wasn't having it.
Baum's books that he wrote for Wizard of Oz, which I think there was 16, and are all in public domain at this point. And that includes TikTok and all sorts of characters are available.
Oh, this was
TikTok, you can't stop.
TikTok
This
comes
was
in the
originally
in the
published-
third book,
this was originally published in 1904.
1904. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And women didn't get the vote until what, 1929, something like that.
1920.
1920.
20.
Okay. So they get back there and they're trying to scare them off. Back to Emerald City, going to take their world back over, and Glinda's now sat herself on the throne. Basically tells them tough, even though they were using the rats here, springing out. Boing, boing, ah. That doesn't last for long. Glinda reorganizes and comes back on them, and they end up in an attic, and they decide that they have to get away. So they start looking for different things in the attic that they can put together in order to make another creature. So they find a couple of couches, a broomstick, a couple of ferns from the royal trees that TinMan cuts off. He gets yelled at because he wasn't supposed to deface the trees. Sticks it all together with a trophy of a Gump's head, ties it to the front, ties it all together, uses the magic dust, says the magic word, and the thing animates, turns into the Gump. A couple of couches and a head, a few ferns, and a broomstick as a rudder, able to fly. So they all take off and escape. Gump's not that good, so he ends up running into a mountain. They end up falling off. I think the Gump becomes unraveled at that point and breaks apart.
Of course he's not.
All...
Of course he's not good. He's made out of some feathers and a bloody sofa.
That's right.
I think Gump actually kind of has this like Eeyore personality too.
He does.
He's not really happy about being alive.
I'm not crazy about being alive. Yeah. I was in the forest, and then there was a loud bang, and then I ended up on somebody's wall, and now I've got couches and ferns tied to me. Anyway, they get up there, and they get up in the mountains and find this nest of all sorts of oddball stuff, and they're all about to be attacked by a bunch of birds that collects all that stuff.
When you say birds, do you mean women?
No, evil, vicious birds right here.
Yeah.
It could. And here it could be though, right?
Could be.
Well, they've been threatening all the book, haven't they? So
yeah. So a large battle ensues. So they're chopping at the birds and kicking at the birds, and birds end up picking the Scarecrow apart. So I think they find a bunch of mail and money and stuff that they stuff him with to come back to life. So here he is all deflated after they chased all the birds off.
Oh yeah. Really
Then they find a couple of pills at the bottom of the shaker that's able to fulfill dreams. And Tip tries to swallow them, and he ends up getting a large stomach ache. So Woglebug swallows them and wishes the Gump to be put back together again, and then he is. So they all jump in and take off again. I believe this time they're heading to the south. They're going to try to get Glinda involved in this. Glinda, the Good Witch of the South. And that's her here.
Oh wow, they didn't use the MGM depiction, huh?
No, this is Glinda out of the books. Yeah.
Yeah.
Secondary character, they figure they can probably get away with using the book.
The books, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she wasn't as sweet. I mean, she was all right in the books, but she wasn't as sweet as she is in the movie.
No, she's not. She's rather she's still kind of nice. She's very pretty, but and she's
Sir,
good,
maybe?
quote unquote. Yeah.
Yeah.
She hit me with a toaster.
Alcala must be like Romero. He can't draw ugly women.
Yeah, no, they're all
Probably,
gorgeous,
yeah.
Aren't they? Why? Yeah.
Digging through here as they find Glinda. There was a beautiful full page illustration of her. I'm hoping they reprinted here in this collection. Apparently not. No, it's in the original book. The book had about 8 or 9 full color plates, and Glinda in her castle was one of them. So anyway, they decide to go back with Glinda's help and take the Emerald City back, chase off Glinda. She comes in and tells them no, that she knows a few secrets.
No,
And that'll change the Glinda's perception of the world. Pulls Mombi in.
She knows about the gardener.
Oh yeah.
She knows about the
I know
gardener.
where the bodies are buried.
Nobody's here yet. Yeah.
There's a story here. There's a story. It's coming.
Brings Mombi in, and she's explained. Oh, she turns that into a young girl. Here, she explains the origin of Tip and Mombi. Here, they go into the rose garden. Where is it here? They let loose a griffin, don't they? There's a big council. He's got an enchanted rose here that's actually Mombi listening in. A little Zanti misfit here.
Yeah. It does look like one. Yeah.
So that's what happened to them.
That's where they're from. It's from Oz.
Yeah.
Does Bruce Dern know?
I don't
The
think
Outer
so.
Limits of Oz.
Yeah. Trying to find that illustration here. Still a ways away. It's them making the Gump. Rocks. Little girl.
And that didn't make
Transformation
no
of old Mombi. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's in. She turns into a griffin and tries to escape, but Glinda on the sawhorse captures her. Mombi, that is. Runs her to exhaustion. Yeah. Changes back. Glinda knows the story and has Mombi tell folks what happened. She mentions that the original of Oz was a girl, Queen Ozma, and that when the wizard came in, wizard kind of had Ozma's parents have an accident and took the baby to Mombi and told Mombi to disguise her. So Mombi did.
Disguise her ass?
Mombi disguised her as a boy.
As a baby.
Turned her into a boy.
Turned her into a boy.
Because a boy.
It's a bit aggressive.
So Glinda tells Tip that he's actually Ozma.
Surprise!
Surprise. He didn't even have to change his pronouns.
I'm going to say this thing could have been written yesterday with all the gender bending.
Absolutely. So there's a great scene here where Tip's all depressed. And he's talking to the TinMan and he says, "But I don't want to be a girl."
Have you seen that great meme with that woman on? There's a young kid and the kid says, "Little girl, Mummy, I think I'm a boy," and the mother says, "Well, you're not."
Yeah, exactly. Well,
and that's the end of it.
End of.
Oh, they don't have that illustration in this reprint version of it either. Curse Barnes and Noble for not reprinting it 100%. But anyway, because she's Ozma, Glinda's going to give up the throne because a girl will be in charge. The rightful ruler will be in charge. Mombi casts her spell.
I challenge any of you to lean like that TinMan is then and not end up on your face.
Where?
He's leaning over at the top there.
Like this.
Yeah, try and do that.
Over.
Yeah. You pwink.
Great artwork, though. Wonderful.
Just fantastic stuff. So Mombi makes the spell.
I bet Roy Thomas said to I bet Alfredo said to Roy Thomas, "I'm sick of doing these Sumerian guys. Give me something else." So he got the total opposite.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't mean that.
Yeah, I meant Spider-Man or something like that.
Yeah, I wanted Spider-Man.
So it's the return of Queen Ozma.
Right. Did Ozma used to
Ginger's
play
a
for
little
Arsenal?
Pardon?
It's all right. Just a football joke.
Suddenly she's a few years older, too, it looks like.
Yeah.
So to think that after having ruled as a queen, I must go back to scrubbing floors and churning butter again.
Oh, great.
Does it have
Too
to be
horrible
so
to
black
think
and
of.
white?
I will never consent. And her army, some of her armies with her, says, then as Queen Jinjur, rightful ruler of Emerald City, I hereby declare my defiance of Glinda the Good and this Ozma person and just everybody.
Why does it have to be so black and white? I mean, why can't she go back to maybe scrubbing the floors and the guys churn the butter, or vice versa, or something like that? Why so extreme?
Did they show
Gotta be
the part where the Scarecrow and the TinMan are talking to the men left behind, and they're kind of like, "Oh, we're trying to take care of the baby, and the house is falling apart because there's no women there."
Right, yeah.
Yeah, like the men can't handle it.
That's in the book. I don't know if they covered it here or not. Yeah.
I'm looking after the baby.
Once they get back.
No, he's not happy about it at all. They're frazzled. They're like, they don't know how to do the dishes or the laundry. They're falling apart.
The men are happy.
Yeah.
They're in the book that they don't have to do that work anymore. Oh, that's crazy work. Jinjur rises up again. They're going to take a tour, I think. Something. Or is it they just walk off? Is that what it is? The resort, of course, is a declaration of war by Glinda. But since Jinjur had barred every gateway, it looked like a long and bitter battle. So they're going to fly into the Emerald City. Jinjur's there reading, relaxing. And Jinjur's army comes in and takes the city back. The men are overjoyed.
Yeah.
You can have it.
Yeah.
It is said that the women were so tired of eating their husband's cooking, and they all hailed this conquest of Jinjur with joy. At any rate, harmony was soon restored in every family. Ozma's first act was to oblige the army of revolt to return every gem stolen from the streets and buildings. They picked out all the pretty gems with their knitting needles off the walls and the different buildings.
Right. Yeah.
This is mad. There's a male who's lived on his own. Everything, vacuuming and washing up and dusting and whatever you do in your apartment is done by lunchtime. You've got the afternoon free.
Meantime, the army of revolt was disbanded and the girls sent home to their mothers on promise of good behavior. Even Jinjur was released.
Yeah.
Even Jinjur.
Be good girls now. Go back to your homes. Be proper women.
Even Jinjur. God. How can you let someone Jinjur free?
They put the Gump back on the wall where he recounted all of his adventures and told tales and was happily content, to be mounted on the wall for the rest of his days.
Great. I just thought he was running too fast. They hit the wall.
Here's Johnny. Bonk, yeah.
Everyone was sure that she would be far more marvelous ruler than even the wonderful wizard had been, and they were right. As for
What's
Jack,
that Faulty Towers when he puts that moose on the wall, that Manuel thinks it's talking to him.
I learned the English very well. I learned it from a book.
Yeah.
as for Jack, he remained with Ozma, and a magic spell stopped his head from spoiling. But he always remained as stupid as ever. In spite of the Wogglebug's attempts to teach him several arts, an assortment of sciences, and the capital of Ohio.
That's important.
One thing mixed with both happiness and sadness was the day Glinda's army marched back home, and its head, the most powerful sorceress in all the marvelous land of Oz. Which reminds me, Your Majesty, I must return to my kingdom of the Winkies. Must you, Tin Man? I'm afraid so. I need a new coat of nickel plate, for the one I have has become somewhat scratched and or marred and scratched lately. I believe the Scarecrow decides to travel with him. Says, as soon as I am fully repaired, should be glad to have Your Majesty pay a visit. Thank you. I'll ride the sawhorse there, and Jack will come, and the Wogglebug, and the Scarecrow, of course. And it says, will Your Majesty, Nick, or tell her, Nick, or shall I? And I believe the Scarecrow decides to travel with the Tin Man. I hope it won't be angry, Your Majesty, but the Scarecrow has decided to return with me to become my royal treasurer. I swing the axe rather better than I count, I'm afraid. Says, but mainly, Your Majesty, we thought we might have more great adventures if we got together than if we were apart. It says, you'll make a good treasurer, and you're still stuffed with money, which makes you perhaps the richest man in all the world.
Looks like
So they
Until you take it all out.
looks like Rod Teller's time machine at the end.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here? Yeah,
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
You can see that. Yep, that's the last illustration in that book.
Although she looks a lot younger here than she did earlier.
Yeah,
in
she
the
does.
book.
She's got a Princess Leia ears on.
Yeah.
There's the original.
The wizard there looks like the original Doctor Who.
Yeah,
Get out of my way, you're walking.
William Hartnell.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. He passed away yesterday. Was his anniversary, 1975.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
This is the same year this
Doctor
came
Who
out, huh?
like.
Says one good Oz deserves another. From
Sort
Roy
of
Thomas.
Victorian.
Then we have the royal map of Oz.
Yeah, what year did this one come out? Was it 75?
Yeah.
Yeah. This version was printed in 75.
What year did this book come out?
1902, 1900 something. Yeah. And
1904.
then 1904. Then Baum kicked one out every year or so after that, just to satisfy his fans. Because I remember he had a letter inside the Land of Oz book where he noted he started getting bags of mail from kids demanding that another Oz story. So he did this one, and the mail just didn't stop. So he kept going.
That map must have taken about 4 minutes. There's no detail on it at all.
You got Winkies and Quadlings and Munchkins, and yeah.
Now the Winkies in the MGM movie were the evil witches minions, the green people, the soldiers or whatever.
Winkies? No, they were. Oh no, it was Munchkins that she lands in the Munchkin land. Yeah,
Yeah,
takes
no,
out the
but I'm
Wicked
saying-
Queen of the North.
Yeah, but in the movie, the Winkies are the evil witches
Monkeys.
minions or whatever. No,
Wicked,
not the
Wicked
monkeys.
Witch of the
Oh,
East.
what, the
Winkies.
ones in
No,
the big
no,
hats?
they're minions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the soldiers. Yeah,
They've got strange voice. Oh no, they're all deep voiced, aren't they?
right.
They've all
they're-
got yeah, they've all got
Yeah.
extra testosterone. Yeah.
Yeah, they show where Dorothy's house
Oh,
fell.
man.
They took the yellow brick road to, Emerald City. And then Tip started up here in Gilkin country. Glinda's down here, and she's a quadling. She's running the quadlings. There was a good witch of the north. It's the Wicked
Quadling.
Witch of the east that the house fell on.
Right.
Unlucky.
Yeah,
In the
you've got to be
book-
pretty
Okay.
unlucky to have a house fall on you.
Yeah. Very unlucky. The good witch of the north comes in at the start of the Oz book, and sends Dorothy to Emerald City. And then at the end, Glinda from the south comes up and tells her she had the power to go back all the time. So
Could have told
Well,
me
she
that
has to
earlier.
cross back in the book. She has to cross back over the desert, or was it the Great Waste?
yeah, I think
get back
the
to
the
Kansas.
shoes take off with her. Yeah.
Yeah.
She takes off with the shoes and they burn off by the time she gets back to Kansas,
Right. Yeah.
and runs her through the desert. Yeah.
I can't remember. Is it the Deadly Desert or was it the Great? Was it Great Joy Waste or Great?
Wasn't it the sandy desert?
Not the Sandy Dennis.
You
Sandy
facetious
Desert.
man, you.
Hang on, I'm going back to the first book here.
I was about to say, aren't all deserts deadly?
Yeah. It depends on how you look at it. It's if you have shoes that run you through it, it should be pretty fine.
Depends what's
Instant-
after you.
Yeah.
Oh no, it whirled her through the air. She said, "There's no place like home." She says, she doesn't even say that. She says, "Take me to Annie
Yeah.
M." And the shoes take off through the air with her with it. The silver shoes took but 3 steps, and then she stepped so suddenly that she rolled ever upon the grass several times before she knew where she was.
I bet
At
you
length,
did.
however, she sat up and looked about her. "Good gracious," she cried, for she was sitting on the broad Kansas prairie. And just before her was the new farmhouse Uncle Henry built after the cyclone had carried away the old one. Uncle Henry was milking the cows in the barnyard, and Toto had jumped out of her arms and was running toward the barn, barking joyously. Dorothy stood up and found she was in her stocking feet, for the silver shoes had fallen off in her flight through the air and were lost forever in the desert.
Okay, that's probably what I remember.
Aunt Em had just come out of the house to water the cabbages when she looked up and saw Dorothy running toward her. "My darling child," she cried, holding the little girl in her arms and covering her face with kisses. "Where in the world did you come from?" "From the land of Oz," said Dorothy gravely. "And there's
Not a
Toto
dream.
too. And oh, Annie M, I'm so glad to be home again."
And she slapped her and said, "Don't you lie to me, child."
That's how the book ends.
Actually, there's a
I mean,
book
you've
later
been
on.
down the pub, haven't you?
I think it's Dorothy of Oz that she actually moves Auntie M and Uncle Henry to Oz.
They had to
go
come
and live
back.
in Oz later on.
Yeah, the second book's got the Cowardly Lion, Tin Woodsman, Scarecrow in it, and Ozma. And they add a Hungry Tiger and TikTok in the second book. And I think it's the third book, Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. Dorothy's out on a boat with a hen.
With a hint,
I
yeah.
think it might
With a
be the
hen
second one,
party.
actually.
Well,
No, Dorothy's out. Dorothy's out
I
on a
think
ship.
Dorothy's out with Ozma. I think that's Ozma, huh?
Dorothy.
Yeah,
out
this
in
is-
Dorothy's
she's not
out on a
out.
ship.
She's not out with Ozma. She's got asthma.
She's got
No,
asthma.
she's
Dorothy's
she's
out on a
in
boat.
Ozma.
Dorothy's out on a boat with asthma and her mates getting pissed. What?
She gets
This is not
she
the
gets
book I
knocked
expected
overboard.
it to be.
She gets knocked overboard, finds a hen cage that's got a hen in it, and she gets carried by the water back over to Oz.
Now the hen's name is Bill, right?
I think it's Henny.
Is it Henny? Maybe so.
I could be wrong.
You might be right, because I remember something, because I think it's different than it is in Return of Oz.
Yeah. Got to put my other glasses on. Sorry. But O'Neill ended up illustrating all the Baum books and a lot of the other books as they went along. Most of all the rest of them. Belina. Sorry.
Belina.
Yeah, the hen's called Belina. Says, goodness me. Returned the hen. Suddenly she can talk. Says, how queer you are, Dorothy. Live things are much fresher and more wholesome than dead ones. And you humans eat all sorts of dead creatures. She goes, we don't. Says, you do indeed, answered Belina. You eat lambs and sheep and cows and pigs and even chickens. But we cook them, Dorothy said triumphantly. What difference does that make?
Reason the hen's called Belina or Bill is because they weren't sure if it was going to be a hen or a rooster.
Yeah. She turns into a rooster at the end of the story. No, not really.
No, but that's fitting, right? That sounds like something that would happen. So
there's Dorothy talking to Belina. So just some great stuff here. If you've never read these Oz books, I can't recommend them highly enough. Look at that tree.
Oh yeah.
She stops.
Don't worry, I won't.
She's traveling along. She has to stop for lunch, so she stops at a lunchbox tree and picks a lunchbox.
Oh yeah,
but you don't know what's in the lunchbox.
Oh
yeah, there's a whole lunch inside. Yeah,
apple. Yeah, it's a.
Yeah, but you don't know what's in the sandwich. Is every sandwich the same?
Probably.
What's the tree's genus? Is there a ham and pickle tree?
You're trying to put too much into this.
Chicken and salami tree, or is it just magical and you pick off and you just don't know what?
And now you know why we had the women make sandwiches.
There you go, sandwiches.
A lunch isn't
Like
exactly
sandwich.
breakfast. A lunch isn't exactly breakfast, she said to Belina, who sat beside her, curiously watching. But when one is hungry, one can eat even supper in the morning and not complain. I hope the lunchbox was perfectly ripe, observed the yellow hen in an anxious tone. So much sickness is caused by eating green things. Oh, I'm sure it was ripe, declared Dorothy. All that is, except the pickle. And the pickle just has to be green, Belina. But everything tasted perfectly splendid. And I'd rather have it than a church picnic. And now I think I'll pick a dinner pail to have when I get hungry again, and then we'll start out and explore the country, see where we are. Yeah.
If she was confronted by Limford Christie's lunchbox, she'd know about it.
There you are.
Now.
And she's in Ozma. She's captured by a wheeler, taken to a tower.
They were always one of my favorites. Was the Wheelers, just
There
because they were so menacing. She gets on them finally. It's like, y'all can't even do anything. You can't even do anything. You have wheels for hands. Like, oh, you figured it out.
They can nudge her. Yeah.
Yeah.
She ends up meeting TikTok, winds him back up. These his instructions here. Winds him back up. He comes back to life. He's a mechanical dude.
Yeah, TikTok was in Return to Oz.
Yeah. Pretty well done, too. I kind of liked him.
Oh, yeah. Even most of those were really well done. Even Jack Pumpkinhead was really well done in that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
the story wasn't as good as the effects. So
yeah, well,
and rather dark. Yeah.
Yeah, they blended Mombi with the
with the Wicked Witch or the Gnome King.
of the Gnome King. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much they could have done with this that would have been good.
Which part did Michael Jackson play?
He was a Scarecrow in The Wiz.
In The Wiz, yeah.
Yeah. So those reboots, they piss on everything. There's a Cowardly Lion and the Hungry Tiger.
Yes.
Traveling with Ozma. Yeah.
Tell him why it's a Hungry Tiger. Do you remember?
Well, of course, he's hungry all the time. He swore off eating humans.
He's such a morbid. He's morbid though,
hungry.
because sometimes it's like, man, I would really love a human baby to eat right now.
Yeah. You're having lunch. You know what would taste good to me? A baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's even a book eventually written, the Hungry Tiger of Oz, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yep. He's got a little bow on his tail. Just fun stuff.
Yeah.
There the two of them are together. He's got a Cowardly Lion has a bow in his hair. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. Anyway, Baum wrote. Go ahead.
Do they talk about where the Cowardly Lion is in Marvelous Land?
Where the what?
Where the Cowardly Lion is in Marvelous Land of Oz? They
No.
talk about where he is? No?
They don't mention him at all. Nope.
Nobody mentions Lion anymore after what happened.
Well, he came back in
God.
he came back in the second book. Wizard comes back in, I think the book after this, or book it comes back in the fourth book. The Gnome King's introduced. Yeah. Patchwork Girl's introduced. Yeah.
The Cowardly Lion shared a cell with Rolf Harris, so they just don't talk about him anymore.
No, not to be controversial, because you know I'm not. Well, this isn't even as good as Lord of the Rings.
Oh, here we go.
It's just a kid. And the Baum wrote these on purpose to be American fairy tales. So yeah.
Yeah.
The art was good in this comic, though. This book, comic, call it.
Next issue, Ozma of Oz, that never came out. Looks like John Romita.
Yeah.
They ended up adapting, what is it, the first 6 books with Scotty Young, of all people, and the characters on it are just a mess.
I bet when Alcala turned the artwork in, he said, I don't want to do that again. So they said, oh, right, all right. So nobody else wanted to do it either.
I don't know how much of the third book was done or not done. It's going to be on sale February 3rd, 1976, though.
Ooh.
To Gilkin and Munchkin alike.
Wow. Well, at least there's no discrimination.
Yeah,
I think that's telling you that it didn't sell, that we talked about at the beginning. If it didn't come out, it's clear it didn't sell.
Must have, yeah.
Great artwork, though.
Must not have.
Yeah.
That might explain why it was never reprinted either. So,
yeah,
that, and they might have had to chase after an MGM license because of some of the likenesses in the book. That might have been
after that, yeah,
a killer. Yeah,
that's probably.
They might have got.
I would think it's probably the.
They might have got one-time print rights, and that was it. It's just too much hassle to go after it, especially if the book didn't sell well. But heck, at the time, it was only $1.50.
Oh, gosh.
If I was going to buy that, I'd buy it for the art.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was
I
brilliant.
buy most comics for the art, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't read a lot.
Yeah, just look at the drawings. Yeah, that's what I do.
My aunt gave me this book when I was a kid, and I just absorbed it, just loved it. So when the comic come out, I had to buy it.
Yeah, I used to read them in church.
Oh, that's really good. So I think we're going to keep looking at a Treasury next Sunday too. Another Treasury. which will be real interesting. I have this.
Oh, that's more like it.
Wow.
Destroy by Scott McCloud.
Oh God, get in.
Printed by Eclipse. You remember that, Rex?
Rex is going to
Rex,
sleep.
are you there?
I do. I never had a copy of it. It is Treasury size, right?
It is, yes. It's bigger than the Land of Oz. There's a comic next to it.
It's extreme.
Is it
mate.
really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's extreme.
It's extreme.
Golly, it makes the fool look like a digest size.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? What a great book this is, though, folks. You'll have to come back next Sunday. Talk about this is the ultimate superhero, supervillain fight book all through New York City. It's great destruction. You're going to love it. It's fantastic artwork. I think it's McCloud's best work. And it's one you never see around anymore, even though they
we'll be
reprinted
live
this like 3 or 4 times. Yeah, and we'll be live and able to take chat at that point. So yes, absolutely. We can do that. We can do that.
You know, I don't think I'm familiar with. I know he did like, what was it, Sculptor?
Who?
Was it Scott McCloud?
McCloud? McCloud's primary work is Understanding Comics. He did the Understanding Comics book.
That's what I'm saying.
Screwing Up Comics. There was another. I think he did 3 books altogether.
There's Understanding Comics, Making Comics. Yeah, and I don't know about the third one.
Yeah, I think
But
it's
like as far
Destroying
as
or
his work,
Pissing on Comics, something like that. Anyway,
but
His
as far
first
as like
book.
his work,
Understanding Comics is genius. This book is genius. He also did a little kid superhero book called Zot, Z-O-T, for quite a while with Eclipse. That was a lot of fun. Actually had a villain dressed in a black top hat, black cape, and threw around little or large black globe bombs with fuses on the end of them. You know, those old iconic bombs that you see all over used to throw those all over the place.
Oh, sorry, Burns.
Burns?
Is it Burns? I have a berm.
oh,
I have a
boom.
berm.
A bum? A bum?
A berm.
sounds like the French saying.
It is. That's
That's what I thought.
It's the Pink Panther. I have a berm.
Have a bum.
I have a berm. Is that your minky? Sorry?
Just ran
minky?
across those.
Do you have a license for the minky? It's not my minky.
Just ran across all the Pink Panthers on one of the streaming services the other day.
Oh, it's
When he,
so much.
when he's
so
inspired to
bloody
that guy holding that newspaper with the false arms.
But people, you got to go and watch it. It's just, if you haven't seen it, kids, watch it.
Make sure you watch the Peter Sellers Pink Panthers though. The other ones.
Oh yeah, not the new stuff. No,
no,
Sellers.
the Peter Sellers. Yeah.
Gotta watch
Not
that.
Steve Martin, right?
Not the Steve Martin. No, not
Not
the Alan
Steve
Arkin
Martin
one either.
No.
Next
That's
time,
a cheap
folks, the
rip-off.
loudest comic book in the universe, right here. It says so right there.
It says it there.
Bye. Parents, beware. This comic book is exactly what you think it is. 32 pages of meaningless, overblown violence, mayhem, and destruction.
We love it.
Plus one naughty word. What a
One naughty word.
great book of genius.
Somebody
here.
said Republican in it.
Darn you, Russ.
That's next Sunday, folks. Sunday Funnies. Some real funny stuff here. Great material. Destroy next week.
Destroy.
Stop back by then. We've been going through the Land of Oz.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
and we will never
oh
be
come
the
on, it was
same
great.
again.
Admit it, it was fun.
It was
We'll never be the
fantastic.
same again.
No. The art was good.
Yeah. Marvel
That-
Treasury of Oz. If you see it at a show, I recommend that you pick it up because it's I hardly see them anywhere anymore. That and Destroy.
Now we
too.
know
Same
where
thing with
Randy
that.
gets
Never
his
see it around.
story ideas.
There you are.
Drugs.
Drugs.
Yes.
Lots and lots of drugs.
Lots of drugs.
We want to thank you so much for watching us. We know the majority of our viewership is after the fact, even though we're pre-recorded today. We do deeply appreciate it that you would stop by, hit that like, hit that bell for notifications. Leave us a comment in the comment section, especially if you love Oz. We love Oz too. Just great stuff. Great stuff. Want to thank you all again for stopping by. Rex, tell folks where they can find you. If you're there,
You can find me at home.
you can find them at home.
Yeah, I'm at home. You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook under Rex Christian, and my book Devil Flyer over on Fund My Comic.
FundMyComic.com, folks. C, tell folks where they can find you.
As always, you can check me out at landingart.com. That's LANNING art.com. Every Saturday night, Art Style Kamikaze, where I go over whatever the hell I want to. And sometimes a sketchy Saturday, too. Most of the time, it's sketchy Saturday. I'm stuck there.
I got to do a draw stream one of these days. Sometime real soon. Russ, tell folks how they can find you.
Sometimes I'm on Sketchy Saturdays, but not very often. I went looking for Sketchy Saturday yesterday, but it wasn't on.
No, that's because that's because it was Tuesday. No, I mean
Damn it, I got the wrong day. Yeah, you can find me.
Normally Glenn does that. Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm not shouting at cars. See, I was slick then. I was in Sunday mode, and you just ruined it. See?
Yeah, but see, we're gonna have a sketchy Saturdays. This Saturday.
This Saturday, last Saturday or this Saturday? You mean yesterday or next Saturday? What are you talking about?
We didn't have one last.
Whichever Saturday you want.
We didn't have one the Saturday before last, did we? Saturday before yesterday.
Right.
No. Right. No. Never mind. Doesn't matter.
Who knows? You might even be on the one yesterday. Who knows?
Yeah, I might. I might have got Doc Brown's car and just be backwards and forwards. You just never know. Back to the sketchy Saturdays. You can find me when I'm not outside shouting at parked cars at russleach.com. And you can find out all about the Shadow Kingdom there by signing up for my email list and the Atlantean, which will be providing more information on about soon. If you want to go and get yourself a copy of the book, The Shadow Kingdom, it is still up at Fund My Comic in the storefront mode, so that you can buy it right now. You can purchase it right now, and it'll be going off to print within a week. Okay, so
if it's not there already,
really quick. Yeah. If it's not there already, okay. So, yeah, that's it. I may have been doing this several months ago. I don't know now. I'm kind of lost. But I'm here in the moment, and the moment says go and sign up for the email list at russleach.com. Check out Arrow Comics. Check out Fund My Comic, and you can also find me on the social medias there at russleach.com. There you go.
Oh, you silly, simple bastard.
Anyway,
I need a tin hat.
Right, is it me?
It's
you can find if you go to that wonderful thing called Google and put my name in, you'll find lots of things. But if you go to New Haven Publishing and Amazon, you'll be able to pick up a copy of this fantastic book I wrote about my visit to see Jack Kirby. Got to read that. You'll also be able to pick up on Amazon my magazine Comics Unlimited, which issue 15 is currently available. That's issue 1. And if you go to Fund My Comic, you can pick up a copy of my Hatch annotated book, which is 100 pages about the origins and beginnings of this cartoon character of mine. But if you just go to Google...
Why? Because...
Don't say it.
Just go to Google.
Just go to Google and have
That's
some
going to
fun.
leave a mark.
on YouTube and whatever, Facebook, all the usual suspects.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for being here. Hey, I've been your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can find me over at aerocomics.store. You can find a lot of work that I've done over there. There's a great fantasy book called Calico that C. Michael Lanning did the artwork on. You can find a copy of Only Death Can Save Us over there as well. If you want to go over there and look, a nice little floppy for you to buy to get a good taste of Russ's character. There's Paragon, which is a great science fiction story, or a science fiction superhero story. There's The Fool, Rodeo Clown of Justice. He'll be over there too. If he's not there already, he will be shortly. There's a couple of PDF files with my little cartoon monkey named Spank. That's all in color for the first time ever offered over at the store. So go over there and buy those. Take a look at them. So deeply appreciate, again, you being here. This is a quick show today compared to others, but we appreciate everybody here. And like I said, Land of Oz, folks. Go over. If you see that at a show, pick it up. If your local retailer might even have it if you look. Go over, in fact, check out your local retailer. Spend a couple hours. Look through any treasuries that he might have. There's some great treasuries out there, by the way. We'll be looking at a few more of those as the weeks go by, including Destroy next week. So make sure you stop back then. So I think that's it. Buy alternative and independent comics, especially ours. Go over there and check out the Russ has left the building. Go over there and check out the Shadow Kingdom over at fundmycomic.com. Don't miss out on that. Only about a week left on that. We're going to pull it as soon as it goes to press, or as soon as it looks like it's coming out of press. We're going to pull that campaign again and get to work on the Atlantean. So great stuff.
You're on mute,
Russ might even have the plot for that by now. We don't know. Anyway, Russ, you're still muted. Hit the mute button, Russ.
Sorry, I'm all flustered because I thought
Got
my
some your
wife
fingers.
had taken my truck, but it's okay. It's still there. She's taking the other car.
My wife took the car this morning. Yeah,
Sure.
there we are.
Can't
Trucks
nobody
in
tell
one.
me nothing.
Anyway,
She's got no truck with
nobody
you.
Tell me nothing about my truck. No, yes, it might even be. We might have. I might have the plot right now in my little mitts, ready to go on the
you
Atlantic.
just never know. Yeah,
You never know.
probably not quite yet, but it'll be there shortly.
Soon.
Soon, very soon.
Look, everybody's entitled to be an idiot.
There we are. And that's us,
Including
especially.
the
Folks,
president.
thank you. Don't miss our show on Friday. Oh, I got a little bump for that. Don't miss our show on Friday as well. Friday morning, 5 a.m. Comics by Night. Here's a little bump for that and this program.
Hey kids, you want to see some great comics? It's Comic Book Show and Tell twice a week. Comics by Night every Friday at 5 a.m. Eastern. And the Sunday Funnies every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Indie Comics Network YouTube channel.
Void where prohibited. Not available with any other offers. Side effects may include loss of boredom and a sudden urge to read more comics. Check with your doctor if a sudden rash appears. That's right, folks.
Hey,
Friday
kids,
morning,
wanna see
5
some
a.m.?
puppies?
There you are. There. Well, we're probably still looking at Two-Fisted Tales next Friday as well. That'll be part 10
Good start.
since we did part 9 2 days ago. There we are. You never know. Folks, take care. Go visit your local retailer. Buy alternative and independent comics, especially ours. Look for Devil Flyer over on funmycomic.com. Hatch Annotated over at funmycomic.com. See, you got a campaign running?
No, not right now. I think
Well,
they
don't
have,
look for C anywhere then.
No. No.
Out.
Don't see if you can
Taste the
find it.
biscuit.
Yeah,
No,
right.
go over to aerocomics.store and buy C's great artwork on Calico Ashard. Great books, folks. Just the beginning. I've been sitting on number 2 for too long. It's on my list to get done. So there we are. Oh, not that number 2. I saw that.
Oh, that
smirk.
is great artwork.
Hey.
If you look at something and
Radar.
there's nothing there, what's the difference of figuring out what it was in the first place?
Right.
Yeah, that.
Take care, folks. See you soon. Hopefully Friday or next week, or enjoy us on the archives. We're just as crazy there as well. So take care, everybody.
That's
See ya.
done, yeah.
Holy shit. That is the craziest thing I have ever seen. And I'm Dennis Quaid, and Dennis Quaid has seen some shit.
Joke's on you, bitch. I love this shit.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
And I just want to say, when my time comes, I want to be buried face down, so that anyone who doesn't like me can kiss my ass.
Oh, it started. Didn't go through. Here we go.
It means you're a catcher, not a pitcher.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.